Hello. Whew. Teresa Phelps Martin here, bringing you the energetic insights for the Virgo new moon. I have a little excitement in my voice because I love the stars. The stars just provide so much insight and guidance. And I love sharing these lunar circles that are happening on Monday nights, whether they're intimate or not. It's just this time for connection. And that's like what Virgo energy is about, right? How do we connect with ourselves so that when we move into that Libra energy, we can connect with others? How do we engage with our physical container and recognize that we contain this connection to the bigger energy? So this is the energetic insights for the Virgo new moon that is happening on September 14th, 2023 at 9:40 p.m. Eastern time. So please adjust accordingly. So this is all here so you can be more soulful. And I wanted to pull back a little bit and say our soul is our core self. It's our inner essence. It's that part inside of us that's always been with us. And this moon has guided me to share with you all energetic insights of how to be in that place of soul refinement. So to be in that place of knowing, Virgo is earth energy that's mutable. It comes at the end of the summer. So it's the end of summer. It's the dissolve. It's the change. It's the dissolution. So it's highly adaptable. And the opposing energy is Pisces, which is 180 degrees. And so they really feel that connection to the individual, connection to the outer world. If we had a circle, Pisces is the 12th house and Virgo is the 6th house. And I'm being really technical for a moment because there's so much science and intelligence and when you learn the zodiac. And yes, it can sound out there, and I have so many people, even people I love, oh, I don't succumb to all the things that astrology say. But at the same time, do you not appreciate the trees that we see and know, and the change of the seasons, right? And the weather. And so when we know these things, we can work in a way with the energy that helps us to understand more of ourselves. And that is this Virgo new moon. So this Virgo new moon, again, Virgo energy is about, Virgo energy is really the healers, the one who works with their hands, right? So that's why they get called healing. So have you ever done this before? Rubbed your hands together and they get warm, right? Whether you're knowing you're doing it or not, you're creating friction of energy inside of you, and you're in this direct relationship, recognizing that you can change energy. And that's what refinement is about, is changing the energy. I cannot change my curly hair, the fact that I can't see unless I have glasses anymore, or my skin color, my eye color, right? This is our locus of control. Understanding how we connect to ourselves and what we get to choose to engage with, right? So as your hands are rubbing together and they're getting warm, maybe you stopped because I stopped. Virgos work with their hands, right? That's how that healing is. We all have healing energy in our hands. We just have to connect to it, right? And when you get into this connection, there's this idea of laying the hands on you. So you have the ability, whether you believe it or not, it's another story, to use the healing energy of your own hands. And that you can place your hands. Just try it. Place your hands on your heart for a second. Notice your breath. Right? If I really connect, you notice that I stop talking as much. You can probably hear or see me breathing more deeply. It immediately slows things down and makes us more present. Virgo energy allows us to be more present with ourselves. So soul refinement is that taking the journey you've been on, this journey of life, And maybe, you know, I saw this image somewhere. It was a post-it note and it says, you know, pause for a minute. You're exactly where you thought you would be 5 years ago. I'm not. I mean, I guess I'm still doing these energetic signatures and I'm still loving astrology. 5 years ago, I had no idea I would be going back to school, finishing my degree, and sitting here as a licensed professional counselor associate. Just disclaimer, none of this is coming to you as a licensed therapist. This is coming to you as the coach and consultant that I also am. This is my offering as somebody who's passionate about helping others make meaning with life, right? That's how I be, and that's the idea of Virgo. But, you know, nothing that I share or say in here is directive for you to do. You are responsible for you. Virgo energy, personal responsibility. So what the soul refinement is, you have this life, you've been navigating, you've encountered challenges. Maybe you're exactly where you thought you would be 5 years ago. Raise your hand. Now, my little kind of snarky Gemini-ness in this is that COVID happened 3 years ago. No one saw that coming. Well, astrologers knew something big was going to happen and that it was going to be global and it was going to transform these, because if you watch the sky, there are patterns that speak to us. It's like Deborah Silverman says this, who is somebody I got to study with for a while because of COVID, shared how you get to have this direct conversation with God. And astrology, like the logos, astro logos, is the handwriting of God. Now we can get into the details of, well, what's God, right? Let's unpack it and get into the details of Virgo energy of what God is. That's up to you. That is up to you. But let's just take it from the idea that there's something bigger than all of us and each of us, that we're all part of it. Each one of us have a presence, and that presence matters. That's the idea of Virgo, and that big expansive energy is the idea of Pisces. Wildly enough, Virgo rules my 12th house. So I think maybe that's why I get excited about it, is because I can give form to these bigger concepts. So the truth is not a universal truth saying that God is this. Maybe the doctrine that you are devoted to says that, and that's by all means yours. But it's not true for everybody. And every individual, right? It's like saying every individual is going to have brown curly hair, wear glasses, and be 5'8". I'd like to say I'm 5'9". Not true, but we all have a heartbeat. We all share the breath. These are true. If we are a living, breathing being in existence, Virgo allows us to exist, then we can breathe into it. And Pisces energy is really that concept of being breathed, right? Did any one of you say, and now I will inhale? No, you didn't declare it, and how you didn't even know, but your body knew, right? And is anybody, well, some people will, right? Some people choose to take their own life. That's another conversation of itself. But most of us say, and now this is my last breath. No. So that's not, I'm not sorry to get heavy for you if that's a lot for you. And if it is, then that's telling me that there's some unresolved emotions around in your beingness that are really wanting to come forward and being resolved, okay? Just saying, it's really important, because if we have a lot of unresolved emotions around trauma, loss, grief, our life, they wreak havoc on us later in our life. And this is what this moon is all about, is, okay, now is the time. I've had this experience. She just totally triggered me in talking about our first breath, our last breath. I have had friends who have chosen their last breath, and it's heartbreaking, and I've done a lot of work with it. And I've shifted it because I know my friend would want me to be being exactly who I am right now. So anyhow, if that wakes you up and rattles you a bit, that's what this moon is about, is refining, reclaim, like come back to yourself. Mercury is still in retrograde. Jupiter's in retrograde. Uranus is in retrograde. Saturn's in retrograde. Neptune's in retrograde. Pluto's in retrograde. The only thing that's not in retrograde are the sun and the moon, because they never go retrograde. Chiron's even in retrograde if you want to talk asteroid talk. The only energy that's not in retrograde are Venus and Mars. Our outer expression, how we go after what we want in our lives, and our inner essence, our desires, the way we receive this life, is the only energy not in retrograde right now. So the reclaiming, the refining, the recovering our soul. Maybe that's it. You just want to recover your soul. The stars are reaching out to you saying, it's time. We're capable of it. So the moon invites us to ask ourselves this question. It's not simple. This is like a lifetime contemplation, just by the way. If you're tuning in, thank you. I really appreciate it. I have no idea if you're tuning in because so many of you tell me privately you don't engage, which is fine. It's fine that you don't engage in social media, but there could be other people who could benefit from hearing this. And the only way that other people will have access to this is if you like or comment or subscribe or all those like social media things that you're supposed to do. And I don't really push it out there myself. But the moon, am I teasing you along? The moon invites us this month to like look at what ways we connect with our innermost essence. So first off, that yawn just could not arrive. The first question you might ask yourself, what is my innermost essence? What is my innermost essence? You know, I could sit here and talk for 3 hours about what that is. And I would love to help you connect with it. Oh, that is my passion. That is my work. That is the refinement I'm in myself, is becoming more available and accessible to individuals. So what is our innermost essence? Making that connection. And it's going to change because we evolve. That's it. But the essence is unwavering. You hold an essence and that never goes away. That's ever present, always and forever. Even, in my opinion, beyond that last breath. So you might want to get clear there, and that's a perfect entry point. This idea that our innermost essence, this idea that we have a higher self, our self, that is our core self, our whole self, that is compassionate, accepting, caring, kind, and loving. Okay? And can you engage with this on a daily basis and engage with this energy that wants to help guide us? Okay? Your instinct and your intuition are two different things, but that instinctual nature is evidence that we have this deep wiring to intuit what is in front of us. Some people think that I'm very intuitive. I'm just tuned in, okay? And I have been since I was a young girl. So that's almost, you know, let's say since I was 5. That's, which you might think that's a little ahead of the game, but I was in 2nd grade. I was 6 years old when I tuned in to knowing some really heavy, significant things, and had an understanding for things. So I have been tuning into my own intuition since I was like 6 years old. Can't say that it was always in a constant 100% of the time searching or connection. Part of that is because it wasn't supported, like my environment, most of ours, didn't really encourage it. There was no YouTube to go just learn all kinds of things on. So, so that's like 41 years of working on my intuition, and I keep refining it and learning and connecting. And it's not just the intellectual pursuit, it's very much the experiential pursuit. So how are you connecting with this? How are you connecting? And screw it if I've done it for long and you've done it one day. If this is your day one, then brilliant. Celebrate that, because you have to have a day one, right? I drift away and then come back. I'm human just like the rest of us. So, but are you willing to make that connection on a daily basis and allow the guidance to start helping us to receive it, to open up to it, so it can support us in our life? I heard somebody say this the other day. You know, we can get all these downloads. We can study charts. We can say, oh, well, you know, the sun is opposing Neptune, which it will be for this new moon, but it's trining Uranus. So you are going to see your loved one who passed in clear daylight. No, it could be there. Maybe you will. Maybe you will make a strong connection that'll rock your world and blow your mind, because Uranus, that's what Uranus does. And maybe it is a connection to the unseen world, which is Neptune, and the sun is you, your essence, radiating out. Maybe that's it. And that can create a lot of opposition and confusion, right? And that's what Neptune opposing the sun does. It can really be hard to know what's real. My natal chart has sun opposing Neptune. So I've struggled to know what's real. This is why I'm always learning, always deepening my studies, always researching. It's just like ridiculous amount, so that I can understand and know what's known, right? So that Neptune sun opposition is a big signature of this new moon. And that to me is that push-pull of the unseen and seen, the unknown and known, the unconscious and conscious. I like to say that Neptune energy and Piscean energy is more of our subconscious. It is the collective subconscious. Yeah, Jung would say the collective unconscious, which there is. And thank you, Jung, for like really bringing to life this energy of archetypes that he took from the 12 signs of the zodiac. He was a huge fan of astrology. And that idea that we have a side that we don't need to be scared of, right? Virgo energy is like, ooh, there's this part of me that's a little much or a little out there, or, you know, not good enough. Ooh, huge signature of Virgo, not good enough. So what I heard the other day is the path you're on is the exact path you're supposed to be on. Not the download the astrologer gave you, not my information, because you're choosing. You know, I'm researching grief and loss because that's something I've had a lot of experience with in my own life, and navigating it in my own way hasn't always been fun, but I've had to do a lot of work with it. So this is part of my offering out into the world, is working with other individuals. And if any of you know me and you've worked with me, then you've gone through a major transition, and that's the work we were doing, whether you knew that or not. But you know, that we hear so often that saying, oh, time will heal, right? And I loved, this comes from the grief recovery method, that his example was like, time will heal. Like, that's the silliest. Yes, it will heal when you choose how to work with time. Okay, but if you, I'm just sorry, he gave this expression of, if you have a flat tire, you're just gonna pull up a chair and sit and wait. Time will take care of it. I really appreciated this individual's presentation. It's like, no, you have to do something. You have to consciously engage with it. And that is what Virgo does. That's the idea of soul refinement. That's the idea of like, okay, there's unfinished and unresolved energy. And so now it's time that we look at it. We see it. We grab hold of it. And we say, whew, that's not way that this has been going isn't going to work. And we can't wait for some miraculous moment of something to just blow air into our tire and we're on our way again. No, we're going to have to engage with it. And that's the energy of this soul refinement. Mercury is in retrograde, so it might be a little whoop, 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 a little hiccupy. Interestingly enough, moments after this new moon, the moon will trine Pluto. And what that means is Pluto's the underworld in the transformation. So we have this calling forward of, you know what, the big changes. Pluto symbolizes death and rebirth. Rebirth. So much of this chart is birthing anew, confidently. Although sometimes confidence comes from experience, but we want to believe in it. We want to believe in ourselves, believe in our abilities. And I believe in this moon in a major way. And there's an opportunity with this moon to refine, because the energetics have this beautiful grand earth trine of that we can do the work. And in the work, our efforts will be rewarded, which doesn't always happen, right? Sometimes we do the work and we just are left in pain and discomfort, right? I still remember having a flat tire and calling up support. Tire got changed. And then literally, I'm not kidding you, that car was like vexed after that moment. We parked in a rest stop one time. The car was smoking crazy. We didn't have kids at the time. Thank you. Just like, again, another thing. And then wildly enough, the car was recalled because of a scam saying that it got better mileage than it actually did. I still loved the car, but it broke on me all the time. So that's the idea of like, your efforts will be rewarded. So fortunately, the dealer paid for the car, not just mine, a lot of people's cars. And I got a new car, which is even more of a lemon than the one before. But anyhow, this moon has a signature of like, do the work, and those bumps in the road, you won't lose that momentum moving forward. Okay. And it's that if we can look at the changes, like what's been surfacing over the past few years. Hello, everybody's engaged major changes in the past few years. Some of us a little more intense. And how have our everyday lives changed? Mine looks really different right now, and I love it. And how can you refine it? And then if you refine this energy, how can you then take it and connect it back to the bigger picture, right? To that universal energy, and know that the universe has your back, like guided by grace, that you can open up to it and that energy will come forward, right? It's one of the things that I've never let go of in my training with Anusara and Shaivism and the Shakti traditions, are opening up that willingness and that universal energy. And when we can weave this into our daily endeavors, what's going to materialize is what our heart is desiring, our soul is desiring. Yeah. All right. So I appreciate you tuning in. This is coming to you via YouTube, and YouTube is this wild thing. But it brings us this chance for connection. It makes it very easy for me to put this together, and maybe the 10 of you who watch it all the way through, you're amazing. You're wonderful. I don't push my YouTube channel. I don't try to make it something bigger. I'm not trying to come onto YouTube to get sponsorship where I can make millions of dollars, like some yoga teachers have successfully done, and astrologers. I am just using it as a point of transmission, that you take what serves and leave the rest behind. And, but that, you can know that healing's happening, right? And healing happens when we choose and we decide to show up. So you've chosen to show up and listen, and you've made it with me to the very end. So, maybe just let this be permission or an invitation or a little gentle, loving nudge to restore your connection to your existence, the way you engage in your life, and know that the stars are on your side, shining for you, so that you, myself, that we can all shine brilliantly together. So be real, be true, and be so fully you. You are one of a kind, and the world is anxiously awaiting for you to come alive and show us your brilliant gifts. So until next time, have a lovely engagement. And yes, I will be doing a lunar circle for the Libra new moon, which just happens to be a solar eclipse. I will put the link in the comments, and it is limited participation. And with that lunar circle that I mentioned, it's a chance for connection. It's not really meant to be educational, but sometimes that happens because that's what's healing, is to understand more. And, but it's more of a meditation, a chance of connection, conversation with one another. And so the link's in the comments. It is $25 and it will be happening October 9th. I believe it's October 9th. October 9th, 2011 at 8 p.m. Eastern time. And they are not recorded. No, it's just I want to protect confidentiality and make people feel safe that they can share in the conversation. So I will be back with Libra season, which is kind of funny that it's going to happen on September 23rd. And I will share the energies of Libra season, and or you can join me and get a more deeper connection through the lunar circle, or engage in the comments below, or showing up to the Soulfully You Facebook group. I thank you all so much. Have a lovely next lunar cycle as we open up to the opportunity of Virgo energy.